Alright, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Trippy, and I guess I'm gonna break this fight down. The rematch, nobody asked for it, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not gonna watch it or I'm not a little bit buzzed for it. Our boy Tyron Woodley gets his rematch. He has his chance, you guys, to really set the tables this time, to prove all of us wrong, to make the MMA community proud. Can he do it? I'm gonna answer that in this video. I'm gonna give you guys my final breakdown and prediction on things, and yeah, let's talk about it. So typically I like to break down each fighter piece by piece and then give my prediction at the end, but I don't think that this fight needs that, because this isn't just a high level affair. This isn't a boxing match at the highest level. This isn't no Canelo versus Floyd where we have to break down specific weapons that they use. Not really. Okay, so these guys are pretty good level boxers. I'm not going to say that they're like the average guys and they're just going in here and they're just going to sling leather. It's not that. It's actually going to be a pretty tactical fight. It's going to be a mid-level amateur type fight. Not high-level amateur, but mid-level amateurs. I'll give them that. But I will both say that both guys have a decent understanding of the boxing fundamentals. Jake Paul is more fundamentally sound than Tyron Woodley. And I rewatched the first fight literally last night, and I saw a few things. Jake Paul is the better fundamental boxer. He throws better combinations, much better combinations. He does get very sloppy. I mean, he is pretty dang sloppy. But I've been watching Jake Paul training videos, man, and he's looking better in his new training photos, or training videos. He's hitting the bag, and what I see is that he's bettered the form of his punches. Now, remember when Kamaru Usman bettered the form of his punches, he started knocking everybody out? But I mean, that doesn't mean anything. When I say I've seen him bettering the form of his punches, it's him hitting mitts and hitting the heavy bag. The heavy bag doesn't move forward, and it doesn't try to knock you out, or walk you down for 8 rounds. So, things could be a lot similar to the first fight. I'm just saying that Jake looks like he's learning better boxing form, which is always good. Tyron Woodley, we haven't really seen a lot from him, training-wise. The dude took the fight on less than 2 weeks' notice. It was literally less than 2 weeks' notice. How much can you get better in less than 2 weeks, So I don't even believe the talk that he's been training this whole time and waiting for this. I don't think that Tyron Woodley was in a rigorous training camp. I believe that he was working out in boxing, like, I'm gonna hit a boxing exercises, but he was having talks about going back to MMA, all this type of stuff. He really didn't know that this fight was gonna happen, let's be real. He's talking like it though, but if he's ending up digging his own grave and he's really capping, then I mean, he dug his own grave, right? But anyway, let's talk about the weapons real quick. Both guys arguably have the same punch. Jake Paul has decent boxing fundamentals. Like I said, he throws decent shots, better shots than Tyron Woodley, but they're not, he's not high level at all. Jake Paul is not very good. He's not very good, I'm just being real. But Tyron Woodley is not very good of a boxer either. He still is an athletic wrestler at the end of the day. More athletic than Ben Askren, has more explosive power than Ben Askren. But that's about it, to be honest with you. If Ben Askren had Tyron Woodley's athleticism and Tyron Woodley's power and explosiveness, he'd look like Tyron Woodley fighting against Jake Paul, to be honest with you. But, he's a wrestler. Tyron Woodley is going to box like a wrestler, you know what I mean? So it's like they both have the same punch. I would argue Tyron Woodley is better with that punch, that right hand, because he's been throwing it for many more years. He's more accurate with it. He's faster. He is faster. He's faster than Jake Paul. And he arguably hits harder. A lot of people were surprised that Jake didn't knock out Woodley. I wasn't, I definitely don't see a knockout happening in this fight watching the last fight. They just don't throw correctly to knock each other out. Tyron's power worked very well in MMA because of the 4-ounce gloves and that he can hide the punches better, with smaller gloves. But it's not going to work the same way in boxing. He doesn't throw like a boxer. Jake Paul throws more like a boxer than Woodley does, but Jake Paul gets very sloppy, you know what I mean? He still wings over right hands, and whenever he does throw other combinations in the right hand, there's not much power behind it. He doesn't sit on every single shot because he's just not that experienced yet. Like I said, it looks like he's doing better with that now. Looking at his training footage, he has improved his fundamentals, but it's like I will have to see it to believe it. He may rock Woodley, with the combination, but he's not going to sit him down. He's just not. He doesn't throw right. He's going to launch that right hand, which is his best punch, and arguably his only punch. Tyron Woodley, the same thing. The way he was throwing, though, I mean, that guy was right hand heavy. That's all he threw, and that was his problem. He would go for it and only look for the right hand. And then arguably, we all know what lost him the fight. Didn't throw enough punches. Tyron wasn't gassed. He looked like a professional fighter in there with the as far as gas tank wise. He just didn't throw enough punches, and it's just weird, man. But it's like, how did you expect him to fight? That is how he's been fighting. That is why he keeps losing, because he relies on one shot, and that one shot he barely even throws it. You know what I mean? So what is gonna happen in this fight? I think it's another decision. I really do. I feel like Jake Paul may wobble Woodley, or Woodley might rock Jake Paul again. It's really either or, but it's not going to be a knockout. It's not going to be a finish. It's not going to be a TKO. It's going to be none of that. If there's going to be a knockout finish, it's going to be Woodley knocking out Jake Paul. But it could happen, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that Tyron throws correctly to knock Jake Paul out in boxing. I just really don't think so. I think Jake Paul is going to show us a better improved version of this, because you got to realize he was training for a traditional boxer this whole time. Falls out, now he's fighting an MMA guy. Lesser head movement, lesser skills as a fundamental boxer. We may see Jake Paul tee off on Woodley for 8 rounds this time. Do I think it's going to be close again? Not really, to be honest. I think that it'll be slightly more in the favor of Jake. I think he's just going to outpoint Woodley again. I really do. I think that he's going to better the form of his shots, and he's going to put on a performance, winning 6 of the 8 rounds again. But let me know what you guys think about this. There's always a chance that Jake Paul gasses out again. Matter of fact, I can bet that he gasses out again, but just not as bad. Yeah, so I think Jake is going to win this by a decision. Yeah. So let me know what you guys think. We got a banger coming up that's probably going to be out tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think about that when it drops, of course. But it's been your boy Trippy. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm out, man.